The Naga are once again swarming the shorelines in World of Warcraft's newest update. Found amongst their treasure is an interesting piece of lore, one that sets the stage for one of WoW's most iconic and timeless characters to return, Azshara. The Queen is about to make her return, and with her arrival, perhaps some more revelations that could shake the very foundations of the world itself. So let's have a look together and speculate on what all of this foreshadowing could mean. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come, take a seat by the fire. First, let's read together the ominous lore found on the body of a Naga, one that had taken up residence with the rest of its kin on the southern shore of the Forbidden Reach. Titled Song of the Deeps, it reads as follows. Rise, rise, our Queen calls to us from beyond the umbral veil. She has transcended the circle of stars and basks in her eternal grandeur. The time we have long awaited is nigh. Even now the Harbinger gathers the children of the first flesh to reclaim what was lost. They must remember their vows and serve those to whom they owe fealty. While they toil in the deep places, we will journey to the shores of the Dragon Lands, to the blessed isle where the Worldbreaker first embraced the Whispers. As one storm recedes another rises, the torches have been lit. The secrets he buried will strike as a dagger into the hearts of his kin. The Harbinger speaks of a primal power that seeks the end of order. Such rage can be bent to serve our ends. A hunger lost to the ages will be reclaimed. A dark heart left broken awaits the taking. When these things come to pass, the Harbinger will fulfill the final prophecy and complete the awakening. Only then shall our Queen return to reign over sea and sky and earth. We must make ready. Rise, rise. Soon all that was hidden will be revealed. For such a small amount of lore, the amount of foreshadowing contained within is quite impressive. Let's go over here what is actually saying. The first part, while seemingly obvious on the surface, actually could be the most promising hint towards where we are heading next. The Queen is quite obviously Azshara, and transcending the circle of stars speaks to the last time we encountered her within the Eternal Palace. The Circle of Stars was the final area located above the prison of N'Zoth. She has moved past the need to free him, no longer bound by the deal she made, and free to pursue a greater power. The Umbral Veil, however, is extremely interesting. While there can be many meanings, we here at the campfire firmly believe they are talking about the seemingly impassable barrier located on the other side of Azeroth. Perhaps one that shrouds the lands of Avaloran, offering those Titanforged that did not follow the path of order the protection from Odin that we read about in the lore books of Uldaman. If you need a refresher on this, I will put the link in the top right and in the description. But the wording is tricky in the last sentence. Her eternal grandeur could mean that Azshara's power has finally come into its own. Or, as we believe, it could actually mean the awe-inspiring power of the fifth old god. An old god that was all but forgotten from the rest of the world, too terrible and nameless for most. Perhaps this was Azshara's true bid for power all along, although not in the way we might think. What if she has no interest in serving any of the old gods, and that the power of this fifth old gods is now hers to claim? While it could go either way, this does seem to fit her character the most. Her desire for absolute power and reverence is legendary, and this would be one real way to achieve this on a monumental scale. But we must concede that perhaps there is information not yet revealed to us that could explain why Azshara would join forces with another great power. It next mentions the Harbinger. Our first thought here at the campfire was that this is speaking of Iridikron, but upon further reflection, we believe this is more likely a new character, one that will be introduced in the story, a threat that will lead us right where we need to be. But it would be remiss of us not to mention the ever-enigmatic Xalatath as a possibility. It will then gather the children of the first flesh. Now as we see it, this could go two ways. The first, and in our opinion the more likely of the two, is that the children mentioned are the races of Azeroth that were first gifted flesh, and thus freedom by Yogg-Saron. But the only ones whose races that swore fealty were the various cults, like the Twilight Hammer. The second is that it is speaking of the original races of Azeroth, ones that served the old gods and were first gifted. Of course, this is the various insectoid races we have encountered. Perhaps the Harbinger will be attempting to reunite the now disparate kingdoms of the Achaea, from the Mantid to the Karaji. This would make for some incredible fights if this were the case. So they are gathering their forces in the deep places, perhaps looking for something, a key to the prison of the fifth old god perhaps, or maybe something far more deadly. And then travelling to the area of first accepting the whispers is of course the Forbidden Reach, and now explains the Naga presence there. The torches have been lit is a nice callback to Il'gynoth's prophecy within the Emerald Nightmare. It has been mentioned a few times already this expansion that the pursuit of the Oathstone beacons seemed like it could be a possible fit for the torches lighting the way. And now it seems like this is more likely than ever to be the case. The Naga also appear to have intimate knowledge of the content of the vaults, ones that will claw at the very aspects themselves, and they will also reclaim an ancient hunger. Perhaps Iridikron will actually follow the path of Galakrond, attempt to mutate himself using the dark waters. A dark heart left broken, however, is extremely ambiguous. It has stirred probably the most debate here at the campfire, with excellent theories ranging from Nosdormu being transformed into Murazond, all the way to Anduin's reintroduction into the story, but this time he let the darkness in. Either way, this prophecy speaks to the Great Awakening. Could this mean that perhaps our old theory about the fifth old god being forced into a slumber was true? That perhaps it could not be imprisoned like the rest, but its consciousness had to be separated from its form in order to contain it? Perhaps the awakening is speaking of the grand return of all the old gods. Even Y'Shaarj could be brought back, and we would have to contend with not just the fifth old god, but the combined forces of all five, which would become the singular, most threatening force we have ever had to deal with. All of this is exciting either way. We started playing World of Warcraft for all the great stories and adventures to be had within the expansive world, but it was the true masterpieces of these old gods that kept it around the most. What does everyone else think? Is Azshara's return something you're looking forward to as well? Either way, she will demand the respect deserving of a queen. And don't forget to come back anytime.